And now it's time for my favorite segment, The Doctor is In, because I get to interview incredible medical doctors. Dr. Daria Davidson spent 20 years as an emergency room doctor. Today, she continues her clinical practice, but spends much of her time telling audiences all over the world about Max GXL and Max's other breakthrough nutritional products. 20 years in the ER. That must have been wild. Tell me about it.
Well, at the end of 20 years, I had seen 70,000 patients in that period of time. I've actually seen about 80,000 patients altogether. But in the emergency room, and 11 of those years I spent running a level 1 trauma center, like the television show ER.
Oh my gosh.
And so in that environment, you do see it all. And so,
I bet.
You know, you come to appreciate prevention, really.
Yeah.
Because in the ER, everything's about intervention and maybe prevention of a reoccurrence of a problem, but never primary prevention.
Yes.
And so the job was wonderful. I loved it. I loved the excitement of it. I loved making decisions quickly.
Yeah.
But I also paid the price. You know, I was working 100 hours a week. I was eating food that was mostly in the vending machine. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
I was missing my kids' birthdays, holidays. I was working every weekend. Running the department, I was responsible for it 24 hours a day, and so I paid a big price.
Yeah.
I also had some health issues that developed because of the severity of my schedule. I was actually diagnosed with cancer in 1992, and I was told I would never hear the word cure. And so with that, it gave me an opportunity to think, wow, what if I could create a higher quality of life for myself, stay alive actually, and then what if I could also help other people improve the quality of their lives as well.
So how did you go about doing that?
So what happened was, in '92, I got the diagnosis. I was running a trauma center. I had a contract. I couldn't walk away. But I began to give myself permission to think of other options, the possibility of a life that did not involve that amount of chaos. And I also began to become a little bit interested in nutrition. There was a lot of data, and it wasn't what I learned in medical school at all, that made it clear that basic nutritional principles could actually have a good effect on people's health. As I began to look at other things that seemed to make sense, I became interested in it. I actually became board certified in holistic medicine, which doesn't throw away Western medicine at all. Everything that I learned and everything that I practiced stays there. But it started looking at other possibilities, the possibility of nutritional supplementation, of things like acupuncture, all the different modalities used for hundreds and thousands of years all around the country. And over time, my interest really shifted to that. So I started backing away from the emergency room, and I do have a private practice in the Seattle area that focuses on really the integrative medicine side of things.
So 20 years in emergency room, into holistic medicine, and then on to Max.
Yes.
Is that right? Is that an accurate chronology?
Yes.
So tell me how you got into Max.
In the emergency room, we deal with serious situations, one of which is an overdose of something called acetaminophen, which we know that that's a common pain medication, sometimes used for fever. But if you take an overdose of it, it will kill you. And it doesn't kill you by causing you to fall asleep and stop breathing or anything like that. It's a slow death that involves death of the liver. It does it because it drains glutathione out of the liver. The liver has about 1,000 times more glutathione than the other cells in our body. Because of that foundation, I already knew about glutathione.
Of course,
And then in my holistic medical practice, I deal with a lot of very sick people. We know that glutathione is the guardian of the cell. I mean, its job is to be the main antioxidant, but it's the main detoxifier, the main anti-inflammatory. It's directly related to ATP production, which is the currency of the cell. It's the energy of the cell. And so when I started doing integrative medicine, I looked at how glutathione's place in the health of our cells was preeminent. It ranks up there with oxygen and water and any kind of a fuel source to burn for energy. The problem was no one had really come up with a way of getting our bodies to manufacture more glutathione, even though we all know that it goes down with aging. We all know that things like lack of sleep, air pollution, toxins we breathe in, chemicals in foods, all of these things will drain our natural reserves of glutathione. And we know that when glutathione levels are lower, the cells are less healthy. And so in my integrative medicine practice, I, as many other doctors, was looking for a solution for this. How do I help people get their glutathione levels to go up? I'm very familiar with what was available. We sometimes use intravenous glutathione for treatment of serious diseases, but the problem with intravenous glutathione, it doesn't get inside the cells. It gets into your bloodstream, and the cells that make glutathione, which is all of your cells, some of the cells have a transport mechanism to bring it outside of the cell. So there is some glutathione out there, but there is no transport to bring it in.
So it's like having a pizza delivered to your door, but you don't get to eat it.
Well, the cells don't get to eat it. And since it's the guardian of the cell, it's like, okay, so it helps outside of the cell, and we do see some symptom improvement with it, without a doubt. I mean, you know, for those of us in a medical model who use it for serious, you know, concerns, trying to improve the health of our patients, we'll see some improvement, but it can't get the job done as well as something that's letting your cells have the glutathione inside. What happened was this: I heard about a new company, Max International, back in April of 2007, and their product was a product that improved glutathione production. If that were true, that's huge. It's unbelievably big if it were true. But I'm pretty good at saying no, and I'm pretty good at looking at things and saying it's not it. The data was very impressive. Dr. Keller's credentials are unbelievably impressive. And so when I look at who he is as a doctor, and he's got a 30-page CV, 30-page resume. Well, as we all know, one line on a resume may have been 10 years of work. It didn't happen in 35 seconds to type it. And so when I looked at the 30 pages of information about his life, and the 100 articles and the 75 chapters in medical journals, but he's also ranked as one of the top clinical doctors in the United States for every year, 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 by Consumer Research Council. That's clinical medicine. That tells me that he's the kind of doc that takes good care of patients. So now he's smart enough, and he's a hard worker, but he's a good doctor taking care of patients. And the Cambridge Registry out of England ranked him as one of the top 2,000 scientists for the 21st century in the entire world, most of whom are not MDs, right? They're PhDs. So when I look at his heart and his skill set, it's huge. As a matter of fact, I don't think there's another person on the planet that could stand next to someone with that kind of credential in a well-rounded manner. That's the heart of Max GXL. When I saw that and I realized what it was, and this is literal, I said to my husband, this is the most significant nutritional supplement I'll ever see in my lifetime. And so from that moment, and literally we at that day, we signed up for the company to get on the products ourselves immediately. And I wasn't trying to fix a problem. This is as basic as, do I breathe clean air when possible? I do. Do I drink good water when possible? And enough of it? I do. Do I eat good foods? I try to. Why wouldn't I support glutathione, the fourth key component to the health of every cell in my body?
Wow. Wow. That is astonishing. That is just, whew.
The other thing is the results that we've seen. Aside from the fact that it was, you know, for me, it wasn't about feeling anything. It just made sense. It was a basic principle. I don't have to feel something to breathe good air, but I do it anyway. So it wasn't about that, but what started happening is as the results started coming in from everybody else, and I love the fact that it's not about fixing a problem. If your body needs glutathione and we give it the ability to make more glutathione, it has its own wisdom. It will use it where it needs to use it. If we have, you know, trillions of cells in our body, every one of them needs glutathione. Your body uses it where it needs to. And so the reports we hear back are very varied and totally delightful.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
To find out more about Max International, our products, and our opportunity, talk to the person who introduced you to Max GXL TV.